Good morning, good morning. It is a good morning today, the day after FOMC, and holy cow, what a move I just caught on feed. The biggest stock in the market today capitalized on this in a pretty big way, playing it down here from 270s all the way up into the fours. I'm happy. I could not be happier with how I traded today, with how the watch list did today. It was a good day. We're going to break it all down how I did it step by step. And really, today was a pretty simple day. The market is, of course, feeling some pain. Gold is feeling some pain, but FED was the last one standing, and it was the most obvious one standing where we were to capitalize in a really good way. So let's go ahead and crack it open here and break down every setup we traded today. Now, going into market open, I was watching a few setups here as from the pre-market watch list. Now, I was watching XHLD, DCX, NAMM, and Feed. Now, only one of them actually set up and met criteria. Only one. And that one was FEED. And we'll look through all of these here. We'll start at the top, work our way down. And we'll even look at last night's watch list because it really is pretty incredible. Now, XHLD going up into the bell. Take a look at this. XHLD. We had to watch this here for the break of 484 over the highs. Otherwise, I had no range here to really get anything going on this. I'm watching this going into market open. Didn't really have here left in the tank. No real range left in this until it got breaking over the flat top high. That being said, I couldn't watch it here. That's why it says to watch it for 484. So it didn't break out. Cool. Leave this one alone. Next, we had DCX. This was up on, I believe it was from the compliance, it regained compliance. And it looked pretty good. It had some headline, had some sort of catalyst. And it was stuck here consolidating beneath VWAP in this chop zone. And so what I wanted to see happen here was a break over this, of course, over VWAP. But the bigger piece of the puzzle here to look at is if we did get a break of trend up through VWAP, you have to then be concerned of this past area of supply from earlier back in pre-market. And so what I knew here was we had to identify this past area of liquidity, drag her on over. Had we gotten the break over this high, you get a big break here at the bell, get going up over, again, this high here. Price pulls back, confirms back off of VWAP. Then you have some good opportunities here to take it back up into the previous highs, right? So this area of supply pulls on over, gives you a nice little opportunity. So that would have been nice. But again, it never broke out, never had any volume, so left alone. Last, we had NAMM. Also left alone today. Well, look at that. This was on last night's watch list for pullbacks over the mid sixes. I gave you a nice move this morning to actually $8. But what you have to understand is the context of the move here. This is a gold sympathy. We look over at GLD today, which is feeling the burn. GLD down big, which means all of your, of course, gold sympathies, your miners, like your AUST, which was also on the watch list last night, weren't to be watched today. AUST never broke out, never met criteria, so no break, no trade. But the one that was left standing was this FEED. And the reason why, this was the only stock this morning. Here's the thing. You go into market open today, there was very few gappers. This is the one morning where we had nothing up over 100%. Everything that was really being watched was just like continuation movers. Feed, for example, was a continuation mover. It wasn't a gapper this morning in pre-market. It was a gapper yesterday. So stuff like feed, continuation, right? And so we had no real new plays out there today. And so everybody's trying to figure out what stock to watch. Well, whenever you have a majority of the stocks that are active right now, like NAMM, AUST, right? They're up, and TRX, they're up on gold. They're up on gold sympathy. With gold selling off, they've got to go to the one that is not directly correlated with gold. And that was Feed, right? And so the game plan on Feed today, I'll show you on the watch list. If you are not already in the free trial, make sure you get in the free trial. You can see everything we have here. And in the watch list last night, what did I say here I was looking for? Look at this. I wanted to see it put in place higher lows above 215. Look at this. Higher lows over 215 over VWAP for the range to 350 and then up to new highs. Now, what did we get today? I want you to look at this. This put in place the perfect higher low. And I played a little bit higher. I did play a little bit higher. I was watching it back here, but volume was a little bit light. I wanted to see confirmation first. It put in place higher lows off 215 right here, market open. Beautiful. And so it gets moving. And the reason why I don't play it here is because I was a bit distracted. I was watching the gold names on AUST, seeing if it was going to get setting up. And then gold began selling off. And so I see volume start to shift to Feed. And I say, well, shoot, now I missed the first move on Feed because I would have loved to have played this at the open. But again, I missed it. I was watching AUST. But that doesn't mean I couldn't play it. And so this gets pulling away, volume coming in like crazy. But here's where it gets tricky. We have the high of day from yesterday. I'll show you on the 15-minute chart. We had the high of day from yesterday sitting right back here at 3. And so I know we have this area of supply formed here from 275 to 3 up into that past wick off yesterday's highs. All right, so that gets a little bit tricky there because now I know that this whole area here is really supply formed from yesterday. This is all supply. So I've got to understand we're going to find sellers here, or there's a chance to find sellers here. There's a lack of range. And so like I said on stream this morning, if you were there, then I had to see the break above to confirm the break of yesterday's high of day. Then I can look for pullbacks into that range, right? We confirm the breakout of supply becomes demand, right? And as long as we've got confluence, tight risk off the 90 MA, it's play ball. And so we had tons of range on this too. If you didn't see the daily chart on this today, I'll show you here. Tons of range on this. We had range to $5, right? We had range to $5 up to the past daily lows. And so this thing gets breaking, and we have this 1-2 candle move. Look at this 1-2 break over the previous high, which of course I have a little bit of profit here built up. I'm going to play these pullbacks a little bit. But then I said, let me get out and wait for confirmation. I missed a little bit of the move. It is what it is. What can you do? But wait for confirmation. And so it gets breaking out. Again, 1, 2, 3 candles break out. It pulls back. And look at this. It gets bought up off the 90 MA aggressively. That's my entry there. And so as it gets bought back up to confirm, obviously I'm risking off the 90 MA. I want to see price maintain the 9. And that was the stop all morning. I grab an entry here, as you can see, at 318. Stop loss goes off the 90 MA, which happens to be at the bottom of these candles. So in this case here, I'm at 318. I'm risking about $3, so about 18 cents a share of risk. We can say 20 to round. And from there, it's just a matter of raising stops as structure breaks. As this candle broke to the upside, stops were raised here to make sure it followed through, right? Because this candle breaks over previous high, I'm raising stops to make sure price continues to follow through higher. And then it consolidates, tightens up off the 90 MA, goes again. Tightens up off the 90 MA, goes again. I would have loved to have gotten aggressive and added here, but this week's been kind of slow. I just didn't have enough cushion to really get too aggressive. But nonetheless, still an awesome day today. And so just trailed stops to the 90 MA as price broke higher, again, trailed stops. And eventually, as you can see, it does grab liquidity off the highs up here. We had that $5 resistance, which was, I'll show you here, $5 resistance. It's going to be off the screen. We'll just draw it right there. And so it grabs this big wick off the high, and I say, you know what, I'll just go ahead and be out full. And so took my profit there as it started to find sellers beneath 5. Then it starts to curl. I say, do I want to try and play it here, get some, maybe a third, fourth trade here? I didn't play it again. I said, you know what, the market's crashing. When I say crashing, it's selling off. And I'm happy with the day. I don't want to go giving back, knowing we just put in place sellers off the high, knowing we don't have much range to the upside. I just want to be happy with where I'm at and step back. This is the last trade I took today. So it then makes a new high of day. You can see new high, but on lower volume. So we have this divergence here that I'm not a big fan of. So from there, leave it alone. Of course, no trades all through here, and it was just chopped the rest of the morning. So this was a perfect setup. A-plus opportunity from last night's watch list. I'm super happy. And hopefully y'all were able to catch this thing too today, because this thing was so fruitful. I am super stoked. But that is the recap of the morning. Really a short recap here, but that's all I traded. Just being picky. Obviously, less is more. Less trades, more size, more money. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully you learned a thing or two from this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe for daily content just like this and my free top 3 stock watch list every single night. Make sure you tune into those. And make sure to claim your 7-day free trial down in the description below to trade alongside me in real time every single morning and get alerts, education, watch list, chat room access, education, scanners, news, momentum AI, momentum journal, and so much more. And that being said, I will see you there tomorrow morning or back here tomorrow if you don't join. Hopefully you do, though, because tomorrow's Friday. Going to be an awesome end of week. I will see you there. That being said, comment down below as well how you did today. I'll see you next time.